Hey everyone, it's Cerulean Star here. Today I wanted to bring you a quick guide on Paladin, right? Paladin is my favorite class, it's my favorite tank, it's the one that I have decided that I'm going to be my main if I can, right? I'm going to try to find a static group as Paladin tank and try to do content primarily as Paladin on this channel as I go through this stuff throughout the year. All the tanks basically play the same, they all have similar abilities. And so let's kind of just jump into it, right? This is my current Paladin, you know, look, he's pretty slick. I love anything that has blue in it, of course, since, you know, it's Cerulean Star and all of that. But anyway, primarily you're going to start with your 1-2-3 combo. Every tank has a 1-2-3 combo for single target. For Paladin, it's, you know, Fast Blade, then Riot Blade, and then Royal Authority. A couple things happen, though, whenever you use Royal Authority, right? You get Atonement Ready, Divine Might, right? You get two different things, Atonement Ready and Divine Might. So next Holy Spirit or Holy Circle will deal increased damage and require no cast time. So you can do this with no cast time, like on the run. That's one of the things that's good about it, right? Now the other thing you get is Atonement. Now whenever you hit this, you get a different ability called Supplication, right? Which lets you use Supplication. You get another ability called Sepulture, which lets you use Sepulture. Wow, right? So that's the primary single target combo on Paladin. Fast Blade is your first, Riot Blade is your number 2, Royal Authority is your number 3. And then you have a choice. You can either do your single target Holy Spirit, your AoE Holy Circle. That also returns a little bit of health back to you, so make sure you're using that regularly, especially in dungeons and such. Yeah, because the healing also generates aggro, so that's, you know, a huge benefit. Speaking of aggro, always make sure you have your Iron Will turned on. Every tank has a buff that actually increases their threat generation, called Enmity in the game, of course. And you want to make sure you turn that on before you start any dungeons or raid bosses or anything, right? You can also turn it off with the same button. You can just turn it off and back on, depending on if, you know, you're the main tank or the off tank or whatever. Okay, so next up on Paladin is the AoE rotation. And it's just a 2-button rotation. For Paladin, it's Total Eclipse and then Prominence. You just hit Total Eclipse and then Prominence. It's that easy, right? And now you do get a combo from that as well for your spells, right? And so make sure that if you are actually in an AoE situation where you're main tanking and like you're in a dungeon, you better be hitting this spell because it heals you, right? It heals you whenever you hit it. You hit AoE, you AoE, and that is also an AoE damaging spell, right? And I think it might even do more damage than these two, because this does 100 potency, this does 170 potency, but this does a 200 potency, right? Now you can also get it Requicast. Requicast is what you get when you cast Imperator. Okay. Now Imperator is actually a huge combo for Paladins, but you can see it grants 4 stacks of Requicast or Requiescat or whatever the fuck it's actually called. I don't know how they come up with these fucking names in this game, right? But I love it. But anyway, it gives you 4 stacks of this, and so the only time you can ever use Confiteor is with Requiescat. Right? And so that's what I do most of the time. And you'll see this is our big flashy combo. So we'll hit Imperator, Confiteor, and it's this big sword coming out of the ground. Then we'll hit Blade of Faith, and it's got these swords coming out of the sky. Blade of Truth, it's bigger swords coming out of the sky. Guess what Blade of Valor is? A bigger sword coming out of the sky. And then we're going to do Blade of Honor, which Blade of Honor is a little underwhelming. That's like the end of the combo, but yeah, it is what it is. So Paladins also have, well, let me talk about these abilities again just one more time. They're all single target, but also AoE, right? So no matter what you're fighting, if single target or AoE, you always want to use that combo. You always want to use that combo with your damage buff as well, Fight or Flight. Now whenever you hit Fight or Flight, it's going to change that button into Rage of Halone, which is a dot that you put on the enemy. So try to do those right after each other because, you know, Fight or Flight is, I believe it's off the GCD, right? Let's, yeah, see, it's off the GCD. And so what you basically do, my Imperator is coming back up. So we're going to cast Fight or Flight, Goring Blade actually, and then we're going to do Imperator, Videor, then, you know, Blade of Faith, Blade of Truth. Now, we could heal, or we could cast one of these spells, but they're not as good as this. Those are like, situational. If you need a heal, you cast it. If you think you need to do a, these also heal you, then, maybe you cast that instead. But they also do more damage under Ffxiv scat than they do under normal Divine Potency. And so, take that for what it is. These are really good spells. Make sure you use them often. Now, all tanks also have an off-the-global cooldown single target ability. This is the Paladin one, Expiation. The AoE dot that they have as well. Now, this does not generate a lot of threats, so make sure that you're not trying to use this to generate threat, right? Use Total Eclipse or use Prominence to grab AoE threat, right? But this is extra damage, and you use it not just in AoEs, in single target as well, because it's off the global cooldown, so you can just pop it. Now let's talk about defensives, all right? So this is a single target defensive. This is one we use the most. It's this bar here, as it takes 50 of this bar. I don't know, all these things are basically the same. For Paladin, it's a bar, but it only have typically one ability that you use with it, and it uses 50% of the bar, right? Do these also take 50% of the bar? I don't know. I hardly ever use these abilities because I don't raid, right? But anyway, this one you use a lot, right? Because it basically reduces your damage taken by 15%, gives you Knight's Resolve, right? It's really good, and it gradually restores hit points and stuff as well. Something that's shared between all tanks is Rampart, so make sure you're using this often. It also increases healing recovery and reduce damage by 20%. As a Paladin, you'll eventually get Guardian. It has a different name earlier on, but it reduces damage by 40%. It's huge, right? It's a huge self buff. Try not to stack these. You rarely need to stack both of these, right? That would be kind of silly. And then you also have Reprisal, which reduces the enemy's damage by 10%, and then you have your Bubble, right? Impervious to most attacks. This will save you from most things, right? Then you have your group defensives. This one, everyone behind you will, this is really flashy. It's really cool looking, right? So yeah, everyone behind you has reduced damage taken, and then this one puts a barrier on your entire group, which is really good as well. Then if you're like want to be a high-end raider or anything, you're going to use like Intervention and Cover. These are things to help people specifically targeted by specific things in a raid, right? By the boss, that kind of thing. You also have Intervene, which is like your zippy to your enemy ability, right? And so if you want to be able to move around a little bit, you use that one. Interject is your interrupt. Every tank has interrupt. Make sure you interrupt. That's a spell. If it's flashing, you can interrupt it. You just hit interject, right? Shield Lob, that's your ranged thing that every tank has a ranged ability that has increased enmity, right? And then, of course, Provoke. And then you have Clemency. This is your heal, right? You typically only want to use this in situations like you're like, oh shit, my entire group is dead and I'm the only one alive, but the boss only has like 3% health. What do I do? Well, if you have Imperator, you hit Imperator, and Clemency, you can sit there and heal yourself for like just, a really nice amount, right? You can heal yourself back to full. And if you're decent at the game, then you're likely to actually get. Oh, I forgot. You can actually start the Ffxiv scat combo with just one, right? But I lied. See, I can't wait. No, it's because I don't have enough mana. So you got to watch out for all this shit with paladins, right? And so now I have enough mana to do it. We'll finish it off. This is why you have to maintain your primary combo, because the best way to regenerate mana is with some of these abilities. So Riot Blade restores some MP if it's combo, right? Royal Authority does not, but Atonement does, right? Supplication does restore MP, and Sepulture also restores MP, right? And so that's how you get your MP back, is with your single target, combo. So anyway, I think that's a good quick rundown of Paladin. Don't be afraid of it. I'm going to make like a deep dive on this class, before too long, but I want to try to keep this video like under 10 minutes, like a real quick thing. Like, this is Paladin, and this is kind of what it's all about. Paladin is awesome. It's my favorite thing. It's one I'm really going to be playing the most, and so I really can't wait to get into it. So anyway, I hope you guys like this second video of the year. I'm going to try my best to keep releasing them every single day. And please hit the like button, comment, and look forward to the deep dive of this. We're really going to go into all of these abilities, different places to use them and things like that. I've been recording a bunch of B-roll footage for this that I have on the paladin, where I've been just doing a bunch of content, a bunch of randoms and stuff. And so hopefully we'll be able to show some real examples of a lot of these abilities and when and how to use them. So look forward to it. I'll see you guys next time.